Hi, this is an introduction video for the next video, which will be a prayer hour for the children. And we will be doing some spiritual battle prayers, scripture, and some other prayers. We will be praying for all the children who are at the hands of evil now, all those who have been at the hands of evil in the past, and all those who are at risk of being at the hands of evil. We'll be praying for all the victims of sexual and physical abuse, neglect, human trafficking, and experimentation, and in any and all places, including families, homes, churches, schools, by doctors, staff, in the womb, in seminaries. And I know seminarians are not children, but it's a big issue, and I want to include them. All those in the entertainment industry and in the satanic realm. And for those who do not believe that there is satanic worship, satanic sacrifice of children, it is very real. The devil doesn't want you to know that, except if you're a part of it. All you have to do is take time to watch some of the videos of the interviews of the people who have survived and gotten out. They've been beaten, raped, they've gotten pregnant, their own children end up being tortured and often die. And after watching and hearing about their stories, you have a greater desire to pray for them. And what they've gone through is truly horrific. And some people say, oh, that's crazy, that doesn't exist. Well, it truly does, and we can't ignore it. According to the Truth Alliance Foundation, 20% of adults are survivors of childhood sexual abuse in the United States. So that's 1 in 5 adults that are walking around today at the grocery store, at work, in our own families, that have been a victim of sexual abuse. And that's 1 in 4 women and 1 in 6 men. So that is like a huge number of the number of people that are out there that have been victims of this. There's a lot of walking wounded out there. And those numbers are even greater now for the children that it's happening to right now, because it's just so widespread now. There are 2 million child sex slaves, according to Operation Underground. 2 million right now. 2 million child sex slaves. These children are being bought and sold, rented out, tortured and abused over and over and over again. And it is such a lucrative criminal enterprise, because these children aren't like drugs where you buy them and you use them and then you have to buy more. These children you just use over and over again and exploit over and over again. That's why these criminals want it. They make a ton of money off of it. It is so horrendous. I wanted to share some of my own experiences regarding the children, and I hope that other people will share their own experiences, because I think it helps others to hear stories and to let them know that they're not alone. And just to show you how long this has been going on and how pervasive this is, I'm going to start kind of when I was a kid. One of the things was when I was I think it was under 10, and one of my family members had told me that her girlfriend was being molested by her father. And I really couldn't, I mean, I understood what she said, but I really couldn't wrap my head around it. And I never knew if she ever got help. I never knew if she told her mother. I never knew if the police ever found out. I never knew if she got help. And as an adult, I think, why didn't I say anything? Why didn't I question it? And I think it's just something that a child's brain can't process it. Like they don't even, it doesn't register enough to really organize their thoughts to make an informed decision of what to do. I never did find out what happened to her. I have a family member that was sexually assaulted by her doctor, and to my knowledge, she's maybe told 2 people, and that was much later when she was an adult, and she really hasn't told people about it. In my own experience, when I was about, I think about 11 or 12, I used to walk to the mall after school. I think I was in like sixth grade. When I was walking across the parking lot, this big semi truck comes up in front of me, and there was a guy in the truck, and he said, "Do you want to make $50?" And I was like, "How?" Like, I was so dumb. Like, yeah, I'm like thinking, "Oh, $50." And he said, "Suck my," and I just couldn't believe like what just happened. I couldn't, like, I think I just froze because I couldn't even understand what just happened. And I just got the heck out of there. I ran across the parking lot and hoping that he wouldn't follow me or find out where I lived. When I was about 17, I had put in an application at a gym for a job, and it was the only place that I put in applications that day. And I get a phone call the next day from a guy that says, "I hear that you're looking for a job." And he wanted to offer me a job talking sexually, having sexual conversations with men over the phone. I said, "Well, how did you get my number?" And he said, "Oh, you were putting applications in yesterday." And well, there was only one place, so I knew it was from the gym. And of course, I didn't find out any more information about it. I didn't do it, but I also didn't get off the phone right away. I remember talking to him. He was very charming, very smooth, like just carrying on the conversation. And I'm as an adult, I think about, well, how many girls did this guy contact? And were there girls that said yes? Because it seemed like there was already a network um, in place, or already an organization in place, and he's recruiting people to join it. And as an adult, I just think of how many young women did he get, um, and what it could have progressed to. You start on the phone talking sexually to someone, and then they say, "Oh, do you want to meet up?" And then the next thing you know, you're thrown into this prostitution ring and sex slavery, and it could happen so quickly for somebody who's not as strong or really needs money, or it's just a really scary thing. There was a time when I was a child that I was lying in bed, and one night, um, and a man came in and touched me on my. He was drunk. He came in and touched me on my upper body, and I just kind of froze. And that's all that happened, and that I can remember. Nothing else happened besides that. Um, but what I can say is that the fear that it would happen again and that it would progress just paralyzed me for years. And so when I think of people who have been truly abused, I can't even imagine how they get through it. All I can do is pray for them, and I really think and hope that our prayers do help them. I don't have any ill feelings for this person now. They haven't been in my life for a very long time. I forgive them, but it took a very long time. And I felt robbed of those years of my childhood, of that such intense daily fear. And it affected me for a long time. And just for that relatively small thing. So I don't know how long it takes for those who have been repeatedly and heinously abused to heal and forgive. We really need to pray for their healing so that they can be released from that bondage that continues for so long, and so that they can accept God's healing and grace and have hope and trust in God and that they don't feel abandoned by him. So I wanted to share these examples to show you how long this has been going on. These examples were like 30 to 40 years ago. And I just want to say, I think the problem is that kids just don't talk. You know, I didn't tell anybody about what happened that night until about 15 years later. And that was the only one until just now when I had to tell some family members because I was doing the videos. The guy that um, was in the truck at in the mall parking lot, and the phone call, I didn't tell anybody till 2 months ago. And I don't know what it is that keeps kids from telling people. I think they think that they're the only ones that it's happening to. And when we don't talk about it, then we don't know that there's somebody, in your class, 2 rows down that might be going through the same thing. But I don't know what it is that blocks someone. I've asked people because I don't have an answer to myself, and I've asked other people, and it's like silence. We don't know what it is that stops us from telling people or to ask for help. Some more current examples of this, and when I talk about like a family member, I'm not going to say mother, brother, sister, daughter, son. I'm not going to be specific about it because I want to try to be charitable and protect their identity. There may be a time when I do say someone, but I've gotten their permission, or if somebody has already died, I may include them or be more specific. There was a waitress not too long ago at a restaurant just up the street from us who went into the bathroom, and a guy came in behind her, dropped his pants, and rubbed up against her. And she ran out and told her manager, and he said to go bust your tables. She did go ask somebody else for help, and they did call the police. But just the fact that the manager did not take this seriously and told her to go bust her tables after being sexually assaulted. It's just really scary how people aren't taking this seriously. They think, oh, it was no big deal. Well, number one, she doesn't know what's going to happen to her. She doesn't know who this crazy person is. She doesn't know if she's going to get raped at that moment. She doesn't know if she's going to get out of there. It's a horrifying experience, and people are not taking it serious enough. About 3 months ago, a family member of mine was being followed, we think from the mall, and she was going down the road. She missed the street that she needed to turn down, so she turned down the next one, which happened to be a dead-end road with a field at the end of the road on the right side. And she parked in front of somebody's house, and she was about to turn around, and there was the car behind her parked. And then she thought, well, maybe he lived there and she needed to, get out of his way. So she pulled into a driveway across the street, and he put his car in the middle of the street so that she couldn't get back up the street to get out. So she went down the street. So 3 more times he's blocking her from going back to the main road. She ended up pulling in somebody's driveway at the end of the street, and ran up to the door, rang the doorbell. Nobody answered. It was night. So she hid in the bushes, called the police, and so it did all work out. The guy took off after that, but it was like a truly horrifying experience for her. And she's still shaken up. She still is, you know, scared at times to go out or go in that area, or just who's around, and just being very, have to be worried about wherever she goes and if somebody's following her, because it's something that doesn't leave you. That was truly horrifying. She was so scared. We don't know what his intention was, but he was deliberately blocking her from getting back to the main road. Some people might think, oh, well, he would have taken her. He would have found another way to take her, But what we have to understand is that not all these people have 20 years experience in taking someone or assaulting someone. There's a lot of people that are just starting out, and there's a lot of sick people out there that that do these things and assault women and rape women and take women and men. That does happen too. We have to understand that these aren't, experience, 20-year experienced people that are doing this all the time. A couple years ago, a family member, somebody at her school, she was a minor at the time, somebody at her school had taken Photoshop pictures of their faces. Must have got them off of social media or the yearbook or something like that, and put them on caricatures of people having sex and in all these disturbing positions, and their faces are on these people. And he had sent it out to people at school and other people. So it was a form of pornography. I mean, it was sexually explicit with my family's member's face. And if you can only think of like what these people that received these pictures are doing while watching these pictures and while they watch pornography, it is totally disgusting and sick. And it just pierces your heart anyway, for anyone, for any child to be in pornography of any manner. When it's somebody of your blood, it's he was charged and convicted. He was asked in court, like, how many people did you send it to? And he said, I don't know. And she's like, 100, 200? He's like, yeah. So, God only knows how many people have those pictures of my family member, like, looking as if she's in those positions doing those heinous acts. What we have to remember with pornography is that, there are images and videos of actual things that have happened. So, when some people say, oh, it's just, you know, pictures or videos. And in my family member's situation, those were just characters. Those were different. Those were drawn. But what I'm talking about is the children, the images and the videos of the children being tortured and abused. And so people are watching the abuse. So it's not just pictures and videos. People say, oh, that's not a big deal. Well, it is a big deal, because where do they get the pictures and videos from? It's from the actual abuse of the children. So they're watching the abuse over and over and over again. Another thing is we have to understand the networks of people in order to keep this stuff going, especially in the trafficking of children and adults. But even if there are people not directly involved, the sheer numbers of people cooperating with it and turning a blind eye or making some money on the side here and there from it, and they may not partake in directly with it, with the abuse or the trauma, but they're helping to sustain it. And the sheer number of those people is huge in order to keep all these networks going. We also need to pray for the conversion of the predators. I don't think I've ever heard or seen anyone take ownership of these great sins, and sincerely ask his victims for forgiveness. But maybe they're out there. I haven't heard of any. I hope there are people out there that have sought forgiveness from God and the people that they've hurt. But we do need to pray for them, because we have to realize that God created them. He created me, he created you, he created them in his image, and he wants their salvation. They may have no one else to pray for them. And I know some people think, oh, just they're going to hell, just let them go to hell. Well, that's not what God wants. Yes, they were, horrible, horrible things, but God really does want to save every single soul. And we know that not all souls are saved. They choose hell for themselves. But God still loves them. God wants to save their souls, and he wants them in heaven with them, with him. Um, so thank you for watching, and I hope you will join me in praying for the children. And now I would like to pray for you. Nomine Patris et Filii Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Lord, I thank thee for the life of the person who is watching this video right now. I ask thee to bless and protect them and their family from all the assaults of the evil one, especially against all neglect, physical and sexual abuse. I beg of thee to heal any wounds that they may have and release them from any bondage the evil one has over them. Please bless them with all the graces necessary to be at peace in this world and in the next. I ask all these things in the most holy name of the child Jesus, through the divine maternity of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and through the intercession of dearest Saint Joseph, terror of demons. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Bye-bye.